Dagda agus tá fáilteóibh is me se an scaile beag. Hello and you are welcome. I'm the little storyteller and this is Patron Insider Time. We are at the 1st of December 2020, which means we're driving towards the end of that year. And as ever, with the first of the month, I release a new story for my patrons supporting me at patreon.com/Dagda. Today's story is it's one of a continued arc almost. If you've been following my stories through for a while, you know that I'm dealing predominantly with the Dagda, the good god of the Irish pantheon, the Tuatha De Danann, but he's also known as the Ólahar, which is the father of many. So we can't really talk about Dagda without talking about his kids, his many, many children and how they inform our view of this god. Now he's not the father of all gods. He's not the all father as you would have Odin or, Zeus, who literally just propagated almost all of the other deities. Um, like the Tuatha De Danann are different in regards to other pantheons because they are a tribe. They are a Tua. They are a tribe of people who come into their ancient and ancestral land because that's the beginnings of the stories with the Tuatha De Danann. Not to kind of go over all of the Irish story and background history, but I really, really could. I'm very passionate about it. Um, Probably the interesting thing that I will say, just to kind of take it back a notch, if you'll forgive me, is the Tuatha De Danann are described from an exterior perspective by the Firbolg druid, who kind of, the king of the Firbolg, Uchad at the time, he foresees the arrival of the Tuatha De Danann way, way back when they're first coming towards Ireland. And he has this vision. He then goes to his druid, who druid does the casting and comes back with the orreries and says, okay, what's coming is a fleet of 1,000 champions who are skilled in all arts and they will be victorious in every strain. So the Tuatha De Danann, this tribe, are skilled in all of arts and they are 1,000 champions. So that is the level which like we're dealing with these individuals, with these deities. But amongst them, there was only one who was known as the Dagda, who is their good god of druidry. Um, so there's a lot that really kind of informs that perspective, and you have that view on one side of this all-powerful deity figure who like can literally control all of the mountains, can literally stop the sun in its track. And it's that story that really inspired where we are with the tale for this month. Because stopping the sun in its track meant that 9 months could pass in a day. And this is a feat that the Dagda did in order to complete a tryst with a woman known as Boann, who was the wife of Elkmar. The story that we're talking about, it's in referenced in the ancient lore. It's known as the wooing of Aton. And now Aton is not Boann. Aton is another main character in it as we go through, but it actually starts and a big chunk of the opening rave scale or the pre-story to the whole Aton Saga is actually the Angus Saga, Angus MacOg, or Angus MacOg, the Angus Og, the young son of the Dagda. And I have touched on Angus before in my previous stories. He's a delightful character to have explored a relationship with as a, you know, from a deity perspective, because I am a person who believes in Irish paganism. I am a person who works with my god, the Dagda, actively in a spiritual path. And so that means I have to acknowledge the existence of all of the rest of them. So we have this young, passionate son and all of the mischief that he gets up into, including, finding his place, finding the land that becomes him at Bruna Boinia, which is the land of his mother. So I've dealt with that in a previous story, and today's story is called The Price of Promises. And it's another segment of the Wooing of Aton where Angus gets in over his head. He really kind of gets in over his head and trying to make it right with Midder, his foster father and actually older brother, who because Midder's another son of the Dagda. He kind of makes some promises. And then he realized he can't keep those promises. And so literally the words in the translation that we have is he comes and bewails to the Dagda. How and if there's not a more fascinating image than that, it is this young child who young man as he's growing up and taking rule of his own land at Brunaboynia, trying to do his best, but he gets in over his head, and there's only one person he can go to, and that's his dad, the Dagda, and he bewails to the Dagda to try and get some assistance from him. Um, so it's a really, really great image, and that interpersonal reaction and the relationship between Dagda and his son really inspires this story. It's how we can kind of view this good God of the Tuatha De Danann through that understanding of that relationship, if that makes sense, or through the exploration of that relationship. And as a person who is a stepfather as well, and trying to navigate those relationships, it's a nice experience to be able to go through and in a way talk to my God about what he's been through dealing with his kids. Um, so I do hope you enjoyed this story. It's available for you now over on the, as I said, patron.com/Dagda for the close and committed club members. And I would like to say, as I always do, Go Rev Mahagat, which is the three separate words. That's the Irish for thank you very much. Go Rev Mahagat. Thank you very much for supporting me in this work, for being able to connect with me over the stories. Like I really do enjoy when you watch this video and leave a comment for me, or when you kind of read a story and leave a comment for me. Um, it's nice and refreshing to kind of have that understanding of the relationship with you as a patron supporting me in that. Um, I really enjoy it. So I will say thank you very much and stop my ramble here. I will also say as we run towards the end of 2020, um, difficult year, really has been a difficult year for a lot of us. Um, but the hard times kind of help us focus on the value, the core values, the root kind of stuff that, what actually matters most at the end of all things. And so I will, pass for you my bestest of wishes for you, your family, your loved ones, wherever you are. And, let's finish this year and tackle the next one as it comes. Slán. Goodbye.